Very good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
Very long back we meet again. This is fourth semester. Myself in charge for childhood and growing up. Okay, so this is psychology related subject. Today, another one important aspects, that is educational psychology. What is meant by psychology? Why we have to study the psychology? What is the main purpose of psychology studying in B.Ed course? What are the scope of psychology? Psychology is nothing about, it is simply called as behavioral studies. Human behavior. Suppose some students are making some problem in the classroom situation, we have to correct it and we have to identify what problem is going on. So try to we realize such a problem and give a correct solution to the problem. And also very essential for teaching purpose. If you are good teacher, you become a effective teacher, you need a psychological tool. If you are rightly absorb correct tool of educational psychology methods, you will be teach correctly. For effectiveness of teaching, you need educational psychology. Not only for problem identification, not only for student classroom management, not only for all those activities, psychology is also essential for effective teaching. What is meant by effective teaching? Who is a very competent teacher? Who is motivated teacher? So for this purpose, educational psychology is very, very important. Okay, dear student, please listen, all of you. Very earlier period, you may clearly understand, earlier period, the psychology is considered as just like a soul study. People are always talking about soul, soul, soul. What is soul? Where is soul? Our body is simply merged two components. The consciousness component one is there. People are giving other name, mind. Some other people or spiritual people correctly consider it is called as soul. We don't know soul is where. I am always talking about, if we talk about soul, it is simply attached with our heart. Heart is giving some function in the form of distribution of blood to various regions. So, very first in 1890 onwards, very first American, very particularly American, they are trying to realize the importance of where is everything is occurred, where is consciousness occurred, where is mind, where is soul. So the first book clearly pointed out a beautiful terminology of consciousness. In 1890, the William James wrote the first book, Principles of Psychology. Please note it, all of you. The Principles of Psychology simply said observation process is very essential. You observe the classroom teaching, what process is going in the classroom of teaching and learning, you just observe. So you may clearly understand. That is very important process behind that observation. As a teacher in the classroom situation, you should be realize the importance of observation. The first foremost technique is observation. You become an ideal teacher, you have a quality of observation. You just realize there are two kind of observation techniques. As a teacher in the classroom situation, you are taking class. Meanwhile, apart from the teaching, you just concentrate how the student is behaving in the classroom. Some students are not present in the classroom. The soul maybe go outside. Their thought is completely in outside. Physically is present, but all the attitude is present in outside. You just be realize. So there are two different kind of observation. Classically you can understand there are two different kind of observation. First one is naturalistic observation. First one is naturalistic. Naturalistic means come out from the formal setting. We may called sometime some students are present in the museum. Some students are present in the canteen. Some of the students are present in the any one program. You just observe how the behavior is going on in outside of the activities. You just one time you just realize, you just observe his behavior is like that. And another one category is participant observation. That is very important of in educational psychology. Very particularly teacher should be realize participant observation. It means you may just understand, you attach with the student. Suppose someone student is problem, you may clearly understand the problem behind that psychological problem. He is not study well. Some students are not study well in the classroom situation. As a teacher, how do you behave? As a teacher, how do you observe the students' behavior correctly and rectify their mistakes? You go for participant observation. It means you attach formally you talk to the student, you simply attach to the student, you create a simply good rapport to the student. Problem is there, but you simply attach to the student. You don't talk. Sometime the student may reflect antagonistically some behavior. Say such kind of a behavior is expressed. As a teacher, you should be simply keep quiet and realize the real potential, real problem is you identified, and taking notes also very important. Participant observation, taking notes for 1 week, taking notes for 1 month or maybe 6 months. You just follow and identify the correct behavior, what problem is there, whether it is affected by psychological problem or the sociological problem or some other disturbance, learning problem, cognitive problem. This problem you have to clearly identify and give the solution. This is a teacher's tool, very effective tool. If you are understanding the such kind of a behavioral, such kind of observational technique, it's very value for as a psychology teacher. It is, if you are understand clearly, you will be a good teacher, because you will give a right direction. You please go this direction. Formally you give a correct direction to the student and get more marks. So I request you, this is a first step. This is called foremost idea of William James in 1890, and the book simply express, okay, very clearly, all of you understand, only consciousness, very early. Then very first they are thinking soul, study of soul, but we are not perfectly fixed on soul. Where is soul? Some spiritualist giving an idea of soul. The first person, William James, is giving an idea of consciousness. Earlier we think simply soul related subject. Soul, we may call the spirit. Good, you understand? Why we people are considered always talking about heart. Why? Okay, next person, very interesting person, that is John Dewey, University of Chicago. He has created excellent laboratory, first laboratory, world first psychology laboratory created for study of mind. Dear student, please understand, the classical terminology is changing to, first William James talk about very clearly, it is should be related to consciousness, in the form of consciousness. Now the second person, John Dewey, correctly pointed out a beautiful terminology, mind. Everything, the human behavior is controlled by mind. Where is mind? Mind your business. Mind your words. Say like that, mind. Where is mind? Already spiritual, very first, very 2000 years back, spiritualist clearly identified psychology is nothing about one of the branch of philosophy. It should be related to the soul, but there is no evidence. Later, William James correctly pointed out consciousness is there. In his book, rightly pointed out consciousness there. Then next person, American person, rightly pointed out mind. You may see here mind. Where is mind? So he talk about doing some experiment, a small animal within the laboratory, creating controlled situation and experimental procedure, and find mind is everything controlled. Mind, the human behavior like that. Okay, some process is talking about. Okay, so this is and the last one person rightly pointed out, E.L. Thorndike. Human behavior is only by the behavioral assessment we can verify. Measurement, assessment, measurement process. He measuring the behavior of a particular animal within the laboratory and giving some suggestion to the, and comparatively giving some suggestion to the human behavior. So dear students, today we talk about very simple, a preliminary introduction about educational psychology. You try to realize, first I am talking about there are four major contribution in the field of educational psychology. Okay, first contribution, spiritual idea. There is no person. 2000 years back they are giving some idea. It should be related to the field of philosophy subject. One of the major component is psychology. We may called soul. First principle, soul. Till date our people are believed. But you may think about John Dewey in his word. You may think about some classical difference. Behavior as well as some of the stimulus and response behavior is very essential for learning purpose. So you may clearly understand these are the soul study. Psychology is nothing about, it is a soul study. In Tamil word we may call it manas patti padikira oru padip. It is a very interesting subject. So you may clearly understand our body, simply our body, there are two different elements. One is body and another one is soul. We are living with soul. Suppose the soul is simply isolated from the body, we may call it is ghost. Suppose the body is separated, we may call it dead body. Not particular person name. We are immediately giving the special name dead body. Suppose body and soul are attached, we may consider man. We consider human being. You just be realized. So first is soul. Second is consciousness. Third is mind. The last one is behavior. Okay. So Skinner, the last person, is giving full importance to the stimulus and response related to the behavior. If you are giving stimulus, automatically behavior, some responses occur. Such kind of sequence we may call behavior. This is American opinion. This is called behavioral approach. Suppose you go foreign, very particularly German people, they are talking about entirely different. This is not like the behavior is not there, soul is not there, mind is not there, consciousness not there. We are pioneer in the field of psychology. We are talking about human behavior is nothing about, it is called reasoning. It is called thought. It is memory. No, European people is different from American people. Try to realize. Their concept is entirely different. This concept is entirely different. memory, reasoning, thought. So this procedure is simply adapted to the German method. But American method, only behavior. Behavior is responsible for all those things. If you are clearly understand both the technique, you will be a very good psychologist. As a teacher, you should realize the importance of psychology. Psychology is one of the important subject, very important foundation course. If you are correct the behavior, if you are giving correct direction, the student will be steady in correct way and get more marks. He achieve in his life in right manner. As a teacher, if you are giving, sometime if you are not giving correct direction, the student life will be spoiled. Dear student, please be realize, like philosophy, psychology is also essential. Okay, you should be realized. This is very important. Thank you all of you.